Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and this is Eddie Marcus here again, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. Today is January 3rd, 2025. I remember just as easily 10 years ago, the 15th, 2015. At that time, I focused on talking to you, the American people, as a spokesman about evil. And we had a tool that was used to draw attention that all of us as Americans could focus on. While I hate to mention the name, just so that we can be on the same page, I will. I talked about Donald Trump as a tool of evil. And the reason that I talked about Donald Trump as a tool for evil is because during that time he was talking about running for president of the United States to have an impact on all of our lives. Perhaps not just our lives here in America, but maybe lives all over the world. During that time, there were those in the political arena that were also pursuing the job of president. And as many as it were, they told us about Donald Trump. And none of them had anything nice to say. Everything was evil. And as I did my own research, I came up with nothing nice. And so as a spokesman for God, for love, for truth, for you, I promised to commit myself to keep you informed as the information came to me during that period of time. And I must say it was so far it had been at least a 10-year span, which means that for over 10 years I've been advocating something different. And so I, in that time, produced over, or should I say close to 4,000 videos that anybody could reference about my observation of that evilness during that period of time. But as we know, these 10 years ended up with, regardless of what the politicians said then and what has been seen during that time and even this time, the American people said, we want Donald Trump, whatever he represents. And we know it was evil, so the American people made their choice of evil. Well, I'm not mad with you. Really, I'm not, because we can only be who we are. But for 2025, I would rather spend my time not talking about evil, but talking about love. Talking about love as it has been revealed to me, as it is being revealed to me every day. And some would say, what is your tool? I would like to say Jesus, but so many people don't believe in Jesus. But everybody thinks they believe in love, even whether they know what love is or not. But I'd like to take this moment, ladies and gentlemen, without going any deeper into that, by saying, if God made all, then that means also that God made human beings. But I'd like to ask you, if God made human beings, what is food for? And I think we would all agree that food is here as a sustenance that helps to maintain an existence on this earth. But it is not just food. It is not limited to just food. It includes, but not limited to, clothing. We know what that's for. Shelter. We know what that's for. Education. We know what that's for. Health care. We know what that's for. Transportation and infrastructure. We know what that's for. In fact, most of the things that are made by the hands of men, we know what they are for. But as we just look at the resources that's necessary to provide the things that I just mentioned, food, clothing, shelter, education, healthcare, transportation, infrastructure, etc., all these resources are given free. And as you've heard me say, they're just as free as the water that's running down the oceans. But to whom are they given? They are given to human beings, many other living things, but let's specifically talk about that which represents us, human beings. Now, if God made the earth, and I'm talking about a power that's invisible. I'm not talking about black folks or white folks, some Americans and others. I'm talking about a spirit that we cannot see, but we have the evidence of something that has happened. So we identified that because of all of the goodness that comes from it, as love, as God. And it is free. These resources are free. Do you agree that the resources of the earth are free? And they are provided for human beings. Yes, my friends, they are provided for you, for me. But not just we as Americans, but people all over the earth. Now, I ask you something. How can these resources that have been created by God, stacked and stored in the earth, on the earth, and above the earth, for the benefit of humankind, how can they be exercised? And someone says, and I'm sure we would all agree, by the way they have been provided, by working. So it tells me that human beings who are to receive all of these wonderful resources that God has provided for us have something to do in order to make sure that they are actually utilized, and that is participate in the manifestation of those resources into the forms in which we use them. We do that by working. So you've heard me say it, I think, before, that every individual benefits from the earth. Every individual that comes to this earth has a requirement. In order to meet their needs, to meet their purpose for on this earth, is to participate in a career that gives them, and I say give them, the greatest joy. Because if you're going to be doing something, you might as well have the greatest joy in doing it. And by allowing yourselves to have and experience that joy, it will allow you to continuously participate. And as you continuously participate, you are in the process of creation of those resources that have been determined by you and us that are necessary for our existence. And when we look at it, when we look at the finished product, we ask ourselves, really, what do they do? They meet the needs, your needs, my needs, our needs. They meet many of our wants, your wants, my wants, all of our wants. They meet your desires, my desires, all of our desires. That's what they do. And by meeting those needs, wants, and desires, it allows us to live in peace and to be prosperous and free and joyous and happy. But not only that, it allows us to live and experience our dreams daily. Actually, living our dreams. Now, isn't that fantastic? Peace, prosperity, freedom, joy, and happiness. And living those dreams produces what we call a satisfied life. Can you imagine it? We don't experience it, but can you imagine it? But in what I've just described, can you tell me what is missing? What is missing that we utilize every day in the midst of this, what I've just said? I'm sure we would all agree that it is money. Money. So then I ask you, why is money missing? Because it is not needed. Everything, love, heavenly on earth, peace, prosperity, everything I mentioned is utilizing the spirit of love and not money. So if money is not needed, why is money used? Money is used as a tool of exploitation. You see, most don't know God, and they don't know what God is about. And so they have come up with a system that they think duplicates, or not necessarily duplicate what God has done, but makes things better for them who have come up with the scheme, which is money. So I'm not going to spend more time talking about that at this moment. But I do want you to know that in order to realize your lives, to realize your heavenliness on earth, to realize thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, to realize a complete, satisfied life. We, the people, have been made to look after, to protect one another. One another. And the only way anytime money would work is if everyone had enough money to be able to meet every last one of these that God has provided for us. And even then, if money was used, someone would try to exploit. So I just say to you, I would like to spend some time daily talking to you about love, just as I talk to you about hate. Talking to you about your life, just as I talked about the life of evil. Ladies and gentlemen, God is real. And if you ever want this peace, you're not going to get it from humankind absent God. You're going to, each and every last one of us are going to have to play a part in God's love. That's why we're here, to play a part in God's love and not to be used for anything other than. Amen. Thank you.